Guys, when Senator Abaribe said Nigeria would have been better under Peter Obi, he was not mincing words. He was stating the facts that APC hates hearing. Now, I'm going to allow you to take a look at a video that confirms what Senator Abaribe said. But before we take a look at that video, just listen to this snippet, then we'll be diving into the main video. Now, take a look at this snippet.
You don't seem to be a fan of how this government is running the affairs of this country.
How can I
what
be?
grounds
How
do you have?
can I be? We left in 2014. Nigeria's GDP was $574 billion, according to what economics. Today, the GDP today is $259 billion US. The Great Depression in America that we all talk about of 1929 was not more than 10% contraction. When an economy contracts marginally for about 3 quarters or so in succession, you say the economy has gone into recession. When it loses 10% of its value, you say you are witnessing depression. But what do you say about this 50%? There is no precedent for this type of economic collapse that we have seen in 10 years.
But
so the 10 years of APC in government has been a disaster, complete disaster. But you cannot even call it a recession. You cannot call it a depression. It's a complete disaster of monumental proportion.
But the government...
So it's not about...
My fellow Nigerians, it is time to change things in our country. Look at Nigerians. We are a strong people. We are smart people. Look at what Nigerians have accomplished all around the world. But look at the current state of our country.
How did we come here? Failure of leadership. I, Peter, as president, we're going to dismantle this criminality for the sake of our children.
We have come to a conclusion that at this time in our history, it is Peter Obi or nothing. We have drawn a line in the sand and there is no going back. The wind of change is around the corner and it's going to ride on the back of one man.
A ray of hope.
A man with the empathy,
has integrity, has character,
competence,
clear vision, and capacity
to fix this country.
A beacon of hope for a lot of young Nigerians.
A selfless one, and is accountable.
Who again now? If not be Peter Obi, not...
Give us Peter Obi.
Peter Obi is the right choice. He's the one most of the youth yearn for.
Peter Obi will secure, unite Nigeria and turn all these difficulties into prosperity.
By pulling people out of poverty.
I mean, just look at our country.
They don't jaga our country. So
the waste is incredible.
Nigeria is in a state of nothingness.
We can do so much better.
Our resources has to be prioritized in key development areas to solve issue of hunger.
We have suffered a lot. Our future is at stake here.
Person with fear for start to build.
We all know the right person for this.
And that man is Peter Obi.
They want good governance.
Peter Obi is coming.
With capacity, compassion to save this country.
Peter Obi is the one.
He can fix Nigeria.
He understands Nigeria's complex issues and also has solutions for them.
And he has created, without driving it, a movement that no politician in Nigeria has ever been able to create.
Emba to bangba sun loye ajo bota Peter Obi la fowosi kò sì sẹ́lòmíràn tó yẹ.
Why Peter Obi, you ask?
Peter Obi is the ideal leadership model for Nigeria.
He cares for a Nigeria that works for all.
Dear Nigerians, we've got another shot.
I don't tell you now.
The country needs governance.
And now more than ever before,
it is time for Peter Obi.
Peter Obi is here to make Nigeria.
Now tell me, if not PO, who else?
Just think for a second about all the hope that Obi has brought to many Nigerians and then compare it to what the rest have done now.
Everything I've said, I did.
Nigerians, we deserve so much more.
As president of Nigeria, I'll bring civility and order in governance.
Give us Peter Obi.
Peter Obi. Peter Obi.
Peter Obi.
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 And so, if you believe in Nigeria, it is time to change the direction of our country.
My duty as a leader is to the common man to put food on their table.
He is the man for the job.
So therefore,
we don't decide.
No long talks. It's Peter Obi or nothing.
Peter Obi or nothing.
Peter Obi or nothing.
Peter Obi.
Or nothing.
Everywhere I go, people say, how did we get here? What happened? What is happening? Every place you go is getting better except Nigeria. So what is happening in Nigeria? What you're experiencing in this country is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. in the relationship over the years, which all of us are contributed to. No single person contributed to it. Everybody, because while the criminality and the bad governance were going on, we were celebrating. Every other country of the world resists bad governance. But in Nigeria, it's celebrated. It's only in Nigeria that you become governor, local government chairman, and people see you obviously doing what is wrong and continue to praise you and tell you, Your Excellency, you're the best thing that has happened to everybody, even when you're doing the wrong thing. It's only in Nigeria that you borrow, you don't have a house, you don't have anything, and you become governor. And suddenly you build big house, buy all the cars with their money, even invite them for Thanksgiving with their bishop and everybody. They are singing and dancing with you when they should call police because they know you stole their money. And that is why I say you don't need to celebrate. We have a country that is going through difficulty. No country in the world will not go through what we are going today when you have over 100 million people living in poverty. The highest in anywhere in the surface of the earth. Nigeria have more people living in poverty than China and India combined. These two countries combined is 2.8 billion. We are 200 million. But we have more people living in poverty than two of them combined. Nigeria, as of yesterday, had 18.5 million children out of school, out of which 10 million are women. The list is long. Nigeria has the highest unemployment today that is known in the surface of the world. We have 35% unemployment. When combined with underemployment, it's about 55 to 60%, out of which majority, 60 to 70%, are people, young people in their productive age doing nothing. At an age that is more critical for human being to do something, Nigerians are idle. They're not doing anything. At that particular age. Parents now pay for their children to go to school, only to come home and live with them, and they're feeding them and everything. At age, people are supposed to leave their house now. They are living in their house with their parents because they have nowhere to go to. They have no job. UK will have problem. Our drug prevalence today is 14.9%, when the global average is 5.8%. So we double the global average. And most of them are young people. Everything that is wrong, stress level is worse. Everything is going wrong. And nobody is seeing it. We are celebrating it. We're not doing anything. Rather, we're dancing. We're still enjoying. When the country is sinking. Somebody mentioned about borrowing. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Absolutely nothing wrong. Every country of the world borrows money. Every country of the world borrows money. Every country. America is the biggest economy in the world. America owns almost 100% of her GDP as debt. China is the second biggest economy. He owns over 50% of her GDP as debt. Number 3 is Japan. Japan owns 230% of her GDP as debt. 230%. So as so many other countries, even Singapore that we celebrate owns 120% of the GDP. So if Singapore has 1 naira, they own 120, 1.1 naira 20 kobo. Norway, that has the biggest sovereign wealth fund of 1.4 trillion, still owns 50% of its GDP. What is wrong in borrowing is when you borrow for consumption. If you borrow for production, it helps your economy. And because we talked about borrowing, I will show you where borrowing has worked. Several countries of the world where borrowing has worked. It hasn't worked here because you borrowed for consumption. The consequence today is that Nigeria is spending 90% of its revenue to service debts. When the average revenue you need to service debt should not be more than 25% of your revenue. But Nigeria, because you borrow for consumption, it's like a human being. If you go to bank today and borrow money, in order to do and farm, do agriculture, do industry, do everything, you'll be able to pay back. But if you borrow it for burial, you will not pay back. You have a problem. If you borrow it for birthday party, you have a problem. If you borrow it for wine carrying, you have a problem. So Nigeria borrowed for picnic is for consumption. And that is why we're having problems. Serious problems. To the extent that we will not survive it. It is that bad. If you borrow it for production, it will be different. The first loan we borrowed was in 1964. When we borrowed money under Tafa Balewa, he borrowed $82 million to build Kainji Dam to generate 760 megawatts of electricity. 1964, September 64. If you read the letter of the borrowing, he said, I'm borrowing to build this facility in order to create an economic development of my country. And the World Bank replied him and said, we are supporting you because what you are doing will go a long way in development of your country. 58 years after, Kainji Dam is still standing. The one we borrowed today, where is the Kainji Dam? Because it was borrowed for consumption. When Obasanjo left the government, his borrowing was, every money we owed when Obasanjo left government was 3 trillion. Today, we are owing 58 trillion. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. A story that ordinarily I don't want to tell, but I have to tell it to you. Because in Calabar, Cross River State used to own, I used to be in financial industry. All my life, I'm a trader. That's what I do. I'm a trader and a finance person, and I have created wealth. All my life, I followed finance. In this state used to own a bank called Comparative Bank, which is closed down now. In 1990 or 1991, the biggest debtor in Comparative Bank, who actually maybe his death brought down Comparative Bank, was given a doctorate degree by University of Calabar. That is Nigeria. And I'll stop it there. That is Nigeria. We're celebrating the wrong thing here. And it's time to tell you people, the young people who are following us politicians, you're hurting your future. Has nothing to do with any of us. This is a criminalized place. Unless you fight and take back your country, you're finished. Because we're all gone. We'll lead the better part of our life. I'm not looking for anything today. I have young ones like you who have left university and are working in their 30 and 29. So the young ones, take back your country. If you don't, you will consume it. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. But when you borrow for consumption, you're finished. I have borrowed for consumption. So today, the money Tafa Balewa borrowed in 1964, if you put it at value of money today, it's just about $1 billion. That is the value today. But today we are owing $120 billion. That's what the $58 million is. $120 billion. Imagine if Tafa Balewa who built it then, I was able to generate about 1,000 megawatts of electricity. That we use one third of what we are owing today to generate the same power. We would have had 40,000 megawatts. Our country is generating only 4,000 megawatts of electricity. 4,000. For a country of 200 million people, 200 million, they are generating only 4,000. And it's supposed to be the biggest economy in Africa. The second biggest economy in Africa is South Africa. A population of 60 million, they are generating 54,000 megawatts. 50,000 more than the giant is generating and distributing. The third biggest economy is Egypt, 103 million, and they are generating 55,000 megawatts. 51,000 more than the giant is generating. What is even more? Egypt doubled their own power generation between 2015 and 2021 by spending just about $10 billion, which is below 10% of what we are owing today. But we are the giants. Everybody is dancing. My dear people, it will shock you. If I'm giving somebody, I'm giving a free hand, nobody will dance in this country for 5 years. The party is over. We must get serious. We must be a country. Because we're not getting there. Things are not moving. The consequence, like I said, is that we spend every money we earn now for debt servicing. First 5 months of last year, total earning of Nigeria as a country was 1,847,000,000,000 naira. We used 1,802,000,000 to service debt, 98%. Nothing was remaining. And we are dancing. So when I say there's no more music, it is now walk. We must fix the country. We must make the country work. And because we have a great country that can work. But Nigeria is not a productive country. It's a consumption country. Everybody is dancing and picnic at a time when the whole place is collapsing. And we must get it right. Countries after countries are doing better. For somebody who said about loan and borrowing, let me show you why I said there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Countries like us have borrowed and they've used it properly. I'm going to give you an example with a country, Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a poor country like Nigeria, like everything. I'm going to give you a country like Vietnam. I was in Bangladesh in 2010. In 2010, compared to Nigeria, Bangladesh economy is $115 billion GDP. 115. They were owing $45 billion. 35% of their GDP is in debt. What you use to measure a real value of a country is what you call per capita. So if you share the GDP with the population, Bangladesh as at that time was $747 per capita. In 2010, Nigeria, your own country, was then $375 billion GDP with a per capita of 2,250. So we are 3 times in terms of GDP with Bangladesh, 3 times per capita, and our debt was only $30 billion in 2010. Today, Bangladesh economy is $340 billion, so they've tripled. Their per capita is now 2,050, so they've tripled. Their debt equally went higher to about 110 billion, but because their economy, their GDP has grown much, the percentage in terms of that came down to about 32. But Nigeria is a different case. In Nigeria, our GDP, we borrowed more money. Our GDP today is 400 billion. Our per capita is now just 2,000. So we lost 11% of what we were in 2010. Our borrowing have moved from 30 billion to 120 billion. So we borrowed 3 times without anything to show for it. No growth, nothing added. Because it was consumed and it's for picnic. It was for consumption. If you go today everywhere, there's production, except in Nigeria. All they do is sharing. All we do is begging. Young people are not meant to beg. They are the geniuses that are creating businesses all over the world. And they have the talents here. And I will invest in them, and they will become the same thing. Their job is not to go and beg. But here, young people have turned into beggars. At an age, they should be very productive. That's not how a country functions. Look at Cross River State. Do you know what this country can do with its space? This is a state of almost 21,000 square kilometers of land. And I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're producing. Now, I want you to listen to me. Now you have a port. It's very important. It's very critical. That port is critical. You have everything, but the challenge is a crisis upon crisis. Nigeria is a country of 200 million people. Just to show you how bad it is. Let me compare Nigeria with Vietnam. Another country with huge population. Vietnam is a country of 100 million people. Nigeria resides on a square size of Nigeria is 900 and something thousand square kilometers. Vietnam is sitting on 300 something thousand square kilometers. So Nigeria is 3 times the size of Vietnam in land space. In population, we are twice. But the total export of Nigeria, including the so-called oil that we celebrate, is just about 25, maximum to $30 billion a year. Vietnam, with a third of our land, half of our population, total export is $280 billion. So they export $250 billion more than we export. And this is what they produce locally. And we're celebrating. And what they're exporting is not something that we cannot do here. Vietnam exported last year clothing, just garments, worth of $32 billion. They exported shoes, footwear, $20-something billion. These are things we can do. They're not listen. I gave you an example of Bangladesh before. They exported $36 billion worth of textiles. I go to every state. I'm very sorry. Dancers, you're good people. But I go to every state. I said to them, is it not time for us to know what we're doing? I was in Niger State. Niger State cannot feed itself. Niger State cannot produce anything for Nigeria. Niger State cannot produce anything for export. Niger State is a state with 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. And they can't feed themselves. They can't produce for Nigeria. They can't produce for export. Netherlands, with 33,000 square kilometers of land, did export of $120 billion worth of agricultural products. 8 times what Nigeria is producing. And we are still dancing. Are we not in Titanic? We are. I went to Taraba State. And I said to Taraba people, you're here looking for money to be shared. All your money to be shared. Look at the lovely land in Taraba State, where you can plant the best flower in the world. Kenya earned last year from flower exports about $500 million. I said that's what they earn from flower exports. The young girls that work in flower exports are paid, people who are not graduates, are paid between $100 to $200, which is between 60 to 120,000 naira. And people are unemployed here. And we're dancing. They can grow there in Taraba. I told him, I said, you can grow coffee here. Very good coffee. Ethiopia exported last year $905 million worth of coffee. She was ambassador to Ethiopia. $905 million. You can grow tea here. Sarah Linka did a $1.4 billion worth of tea export last year. What is happening in Nigeria? Everybody is dancing. That's why I said it's time to shut down dancing. Let's face reality and get this country to work. We can't continue this way. It is a country. So we are living on a land. All we do is to share. All we do here is to share the oil money. That sharing must stop. Oil is not the best. Oil has not saved Venezuela. Venezuela have 10 times more oil than Nigeria. And it's a collapsed country. In America, where people talk about oil, in America, Texas is not the richest state in America. It's not number 1. It's not number 2. It's not number 3. It's number 4. The richest state in America is California, with 3.3 trillion economy, 8 times Nigerian economy. All they do is the agriculture knowledge. That is where Nigeria should be. The same thing would have been happening in Cross River State. Cross River State is one place that would have been the Singapore of Nigeria. You know the only thing Singapore do? Do you know what Singapore do? What? Eh? No. The only thing Singapore offers the world is service. Service. If you go there, they serve you well. They're very caring people. People are very caring people. But they have not turned it into an asset. I can tell you that because I can say it comfortably, because I can say my wife was born and brought up here. She's a quiet one, but she lives all her life here. And I can tell anybody anything. It will be difficult for me to ask that to go, because she's a very caring person. Life is about caring. She's surfacing. This is where people should have been coming for tourism, holidays, everything. But they're not coming. They're not coming because you have not invested in the right way. You're not doing the right thing. Tourism, Morocco earned from tourism $3 billion last year. Morocco earned $3 billion. My dear people, I can go on and on and on today. We have so many places to go. Let me tell you, please, it is time. I know delegates that are here. People are going to give you people money. All the candidates, all the aspirants are going to come here and tell you a story. Most of them, chairman, will come with deep pockets. We are not the same. Some are in government, some are there. And the young ones, people are going to come to celebrate you people, be happy and anything. Anybody who gives you money, please take. It's probably your money, not yours. So if they give it to you, take. But I have one thing that I want to beg you delegates. The delegates is now, the people I'm talking to now. When you want to vote, do not listen to Peter Obi. Do not listen to anybody. Please take the picture of your children. Put it in your front and pray and say, what society do I want these children to continue to live in? Do I want them to live in a society where there's a sense of hopelessness? Do I want them to live in a society where there's a sense of hopelessness, where there's no education, where there's killing, where there's banditry? Or do I want them to live in a society where we are going to build better society? This is now my appeal to delegates. Listen to all of us. I have served as a governor. I've told you my background. I'm a trader. I live in Onitsha. I've done so many things that you can go and investigate my background. How was he when he was a trader? When he was in the corporate world, what did he do? When he was governor, what did he do? You can verify all that and everything. When I handed over, like he mentioned, I was governor for 8 years in Anambra State. When I handed over publicly. I didn't hand over. And when people say I saved money, you can go and verify, and I can say it, only your former governor supported me. Go and read Ngozi Iweala's book, Fighting Corruption is Dangerous.
The Tinubu government in the last year said they wanted to do a major economic reforms, and those reforms will take some pains.
Any reform that you do, I'm not talking about paying on just the pocket of people alone. When you shave more than half of the economy, how long will it take you to recover that?
But it's been long years of this disastrous run that we have, and they say that they want to fix it.
We didn't have a disastrous run. How could you have a GDP of 574, and you were the largest economy in Africa? And that is for you,
Mr. Alawipo, we've in the actual sense. Sorry, sir.
That we have run. No, and then when you get to 259, then you are.
The fact that we've run a rent economy in this country. In the reality, over the last 20 years, we've depended on a mono economic.
You are buying this propaganda.
But that is the fact.
Look, in 20.
When last did we produce anything reasonable in agriculture? No, go ahead, sir. No, go ahead, sir. No, I'm just trying to put the facts right.
I'm dealing with facts here. I gave you figures. Now, in 2014, that the economy ranked the largest in Africa. Oil was not the biggest. The main telecom was already competing with oil in the size of the GDP. Go and look at the data. The economy was already being diversified. Let me tell you, you underestimate the potential of the telecom market and the telecom revolution that was accomplished in this country. Outsourcing alone in the global market, not even mainstream telecom business, just outsourcing some call termination in different countries, which you see people do in India and Brazil. You know the size of the market is $545 billion worldwide. India and Brazil are colonizing that. If Nigeria, we just take 10% of that, it's going to be bigger than everything you are getting from oil in a year. So we are already on the trajectory where we moved Our telephone lines, when democracy came, from barely 400,000 to over 100 million. Nigeria was already becoming a huge cyber power. Now, the only thing that you needed to do now was to tweak the content creation element and participate, in the international, at least at the outsourcing level. Invest a little bit in cybersecurity so people can trust your destination. Just a little tweak. We have a lot of advantage. Brazil, India, they don't speak good English the way Nigerians, because we are, primarily an English-speaking country. You have some of our young kids that have never left this country. If they mimic the way Americans are, all that's our advantage in that outsourcing market, in termination calls and all this, that could have been converted. People will sit down in their homes in Nigeria and make a lot of money. Millions of young people. And you already have all the telecom infrastructure. So you were not coming from a disastrous... You see people throw figures and lies in the air. Nigeria has always been a great country. Nigeria is not about to become great now. What you find now is disaster. All right? Between 1959, the period of limited self-government, and 1966, Nigeria's economy was bigger than the economy of Malaysia. Nigeria's GDP in 1966, by the time the military took over, was $6.3 billion. Okay? Malaysia was 3.2 billion. Indonesia was 5.8. Thailand was $5.2 billion. So we were twice the size of this economy. I went to school when Indian teachers were coming to take jobs in Nigeria. I was taught by Indian teachers in mathematics. Irish doctors were applying for job in Nibusa. All right? Nigeria was assembly stair tractor in Bauchi, Leland lorries in Ibadan. So what do you call this? Vaccines were being exported from this country to all of West Africa until 1987. So you think this is who we are? You think this is who we are? Please.
Mr. Gengala, thank you so much.
From all indication, you can see how the economy of Nigeria and Nigeria at large is being tanked under the APC leadership. These people have ruined this country. They've ruined this country to the point that Nigerians don't even know what to say again. But you can see how this man is stating facts that under the Tinubu-led government, this is even a Yoruba man, but he's saying it the way it is, that under the Tinubu's government, that Nigeria has never had it this bad. I mean, this country has never had it this bad. And the people we are talking to, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care when Nigerians speak. They don't care when Nigerians are stating the reality on ground. But I'm happy that it is this man who is stating it, that, see, it has never been bad the way we are seeing it today in Nigeria. Now, I'm going to take you through this. There's this headline that says, OT to revitalize Aba Textile Mill, International Equitable Industry, Afro Beverages, Star Paper Mill. These are companies that were destroyed under the leadership of the PDP APC that we have seen in this country. You know, these are companies that were supposed to be paying taxes and employing Nigerian youths. But today, they've rendered them useless. All they know is that they've removed subsidy. The people are the ones bearing the grudge. And then the Tinubu's government is supplying the money saved from subsidy to governors. And governors are enjoying themselves without providing any basic amenities to the people. You can see that all these things is politics. It's just for 2027. Tinubu has succeeded in capturing everybody. You know, the governors, the local government, the grassroots. He's capturing everywhere. That's to tell you that, see, this politics is turning out to become something else. Now, let's take a look at some of the reactions here after this headline was posted that Alex Otti is reviving some of the companies in Abia State. This one says the working governor Alex Otti has moved to resuscitate abandoned industries in Abia State. Abia Textile Mill, International Equitable Industries, and Afro Breweries, and Star Paper Mill. He is just 2 years in office. Look at what is happening in Abia State. He used only 2 years to He used only 2 years to achieve what ex-governors have not achieved in 8 years. Abia is gradually regaining its past glory. The governor is really working. God bless Nigeria. So this governor is really setting the pace for others, you know. He's setting the pace for others. This person says, man like Oti, this will create more jobs and generate tax for the state. I didn't even see this thing before I said it. You know, companies are supposed to pay taxes and at the same time employ people. We don't see it under the Tinubu-led administration. This person saying all this audio promise to revive dead businesses. This is Eyimba Hotel in Aba, which Alex Oti promised to revive since 2 years. Now he no single action. Yes, it's one at a time. Alex Oti is really doing things people can see. If you cannot see what he's doing, it's up to you. This person said, thank you, His Excellency. Bravo, Nigeria will be great again. And that person said, best governor in the world. This person said, Abia almost has its own economy now. Nice one. I'm really impressed. Talk and do, governor. This is good. Great news. This person is a performer. So Nigerians are really applauding Alex Oti for some of the giant steps he's taken, you know, in reviving the states and making sure he started with infrastructure. He's rebuilding schools, he's paying gratuity and all the money that have been owed by the previous administration. So Alex Oti is really doing a very good job and we must applaud him. But take it the other way around. The Tinubu's government is sinking the country. Recently, they told us that the Federal Reserve has hit $40 billion. Last year, they told us it hit $40 billion. This year, they told us it hit $40 billion. Every time they keep giving us the same news, just recycling news. Nothing new is happening because we don't have leaders that are creative. We don't have leaders that think. We don't have leaders that are bringing new things to the table. They just want to capture the entire system. They just want to capture Nigeria. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.